I guess he's really worried about that. I wave my hand to let him know it's not a big deal. Don't worry, sir. I promise I'm going to be discreet. I have been wondering about what caused Emmy to lose her legs, and that was one of the scenarios I thought of. It's sad to hear she was in a car wreck, though. There are only so many ways it could have happened, but actually hearing about the facts is still a little shocking. Well, thanks. You're a good kid, Hisao. I can see why Emmy became friends with you. She's quite indomitable, you know? I can say indomitable, but not hopelessly. Or whatever it was earlier. What do you mean? You didn't see her learning to walk. She'd go for so much longer than the others in the hospital. She refused to quit. Normally it takes years to get to a point where you can even think about running again. Emmy did it all in about a year. He almost seems proud of her, like a father who watches his daughter win a competition or something. I'm guessing the father died in the wreck. Hell, she'd probably have done it faster if not for the fact that we wouldn't let her. Wouldn't let her? Why not? Because she'd go for so long and her legs would start bleeding where they met her prosthetics. It's a real concern. That's why she comes by every day after she runs. To say nothing of the risk of infection if her legs get cut up and her prosthetics are dirty. But enough about that. If we don't get you on your way soon, Emmy will think we're up to something. As he says, he gives a wink and begins checking my heartbeat. The stethoscope is way too cold. He really should have heated it up or something before he used it. After a few moments, he leans back, satisfied. Well, you sound pretty good to me, Hisao. You don't have any chest pains while you were running, did you? You didn't have any chest pains while you were running, did you? No, not really. I had some trouble catching my breath, though, and my heart was racing by the end, too. The nurse frowns as I say this, but then shrugs. It's probably just because you're out of shape, but if you don't improve, then you should let me know, okay? Don't push yourself too much, and of course, if you have any chest pains, come to me immediately, right? I put my shirt back on and the nurse leans out of the doorway to call in Emmy. What took you so long? Now I'm going to be late. The nurse gives me a significant look. I was just seducing Hisao, that's all. What? Come on. What have I told you about seducing my friends? I expected Emmy to be shocked by this, but instead she seems merely annoyed, still in the nurse if he were a child stealing cookies. Meanwhile, I try hard not to blush at the nurse's innuendo. I'll try not to do it again, though I fear young Hisao may be lost to the female gender forever. Not freaking likely. Ooh. I didn't mean to say that out loud, but both the nurse and Emmy regarded me for a moment before bursting into laughter again. Told you he was funny, didn't I? Huh, I guess Emmy does talk to the nurse about a lot of stuff. Well, Hisao, you should probably get moving. You still need a shower before class starts, don't you? Crap, he's got a point. It looks like we've only got a half hour. Thank you for your time. I'll see you later, Emmy. Or thanks for your time. I dash out of the room as the nurse begins to remove Emmy's prosthetics. As I head down the hallway, I can just barely hear his voice drifting after me. Emmy, you've got to be more careful. I make it back to my room and shower in record time. It occurs to me that I've already been up for 4 hours and class hasn't even started yet. This is going to be a really, really long day. I hope I don't fall asleep in class. Oop. The morning sunlight streaming through my window wakes me instead of my alarm, and I realize that it must be Sunday. Emmy has kindly deigned to give me the weekends off from our morning runs. I don't know if I woke up at all yesterday or if I just slept through the entire day. Isn't that how you say it?
Dane.
Yeah, do something that one considers to be beneath one's dignity, or consent to give something. My legs grown a protest that I lever myself out of bed. All this running is really taking it out of me. This current seeing this track meeting. Oh right, I forgot about our track meeting. That's a thing, huh? Oh well, we'll figure out how that goes here soon then. All this running is really taking it out of me. Still, I can't deny that Emmy wasn't lying to me. It has gotten a little easier. I've been worried that the runs would start to wear on my nerves, but thus far I haven't minded them that much. Well, it's only been a week. I suppose there's plenty of time for me to start dreading the sound of my alarm in the morning. Not that I could ever skip out now. As Emmy said, it's harder to stop a routine when there's another person. And frankly, I don't think I'm equipped to deal with a disappointed Emmy. She'd probably give me this puppy dog eyes and I'd feel terrible about myself. Which reminds me, wasn't I supposed to be somewhere today? Hey, you're coming to my track meet on Sunday, right? What am I talking about? Of course you are. Right? This puppy dog eyes again. Of course I'm going. I owe you, right? Exactly, so don't forget, okay? Crap, Emmy's track meet. I'd better get a move on if I don't want to miss her running, since she's the only reason I'm even considering going. Otherwise it would defeat the whole purpose of going. And so, I soon find myself quite suddenly surrounded by a crowd of people, all turning out to see our track team compete with another school like this one. I'll admit it's almost comforting to know we're not the only school like this. After you see that there can be two schools with a bunch of defective kids, well, you stop feeling so defective. You also stop feeling unique, which in most cases would be a bad thing, but in this case it sure as hell isn't. That's part of Yamaku's appeal, I guess. Learn that you're not unique. Hell, learn there's a lot of others who would kill to be saddled with your problem instead of whatever they're dealing with. Some of the kids here aren't here because they're missing a... Some of the kids here aren't here because they're missing a leg or they have a heart condition. Some of them might be here because they're as good as dead in 2, maybe 3 years if they're lucky. And that's only if they get the right sort of care. It's a bitter sort of comfort to be able to say, well, at least I've got a chance of being alive through college. But there it is. I'm brought out of my rather morbid musings by the appearance of Rin near the entrance to the bleachers. You came. Of course, I said I would, didn't I? That doesn't necessarily imply that you had to follow through. Lots of people say things and don't mean them. Well, I don't. Rin shrugs, seemingly bored with our conversation. She turns on her heel and heads back towards the stands. I owe any money now. Again? Why's that? I didn't think he'd show up. Emmy did. So I owe her 500 yen. You two been an awful lot, don't you? Emmy, another shrug from my armless companion. I don't think so. Leaning through the bleachers, Rin nods upwards. Up there. I think I like this track most. I keep forgetting what it's called. Air guitar. Up there. I came out to see if you'd come. For the bet, I presume. Rin leads the way and soon we settle down on an almost empty bench. There's an older woman sitting next to Rin, someone's mother, I assume. She's got rather long hair done up in a braid. On seeing Rin, she gives an oddly familiar seeming grin. Well, this is surprising. I thought you went to get a snack, not a boy. Huh? A snack. I wondered why I was down there. The woman laughs again in a way that seems familiar. Where have I seen her before? Well, I suppose you've always been one to go out for the one thing and bring back another. Well, I'm being rude. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Miko Iburozaki, Emmy's mother. Pleased to meet you. Well, that explains it. She's like a taller, older, and better endowed Emmy. Apart from her hair being a darker shade than Emmy's, there's really no mistaking the resemblance. Sorry, I'm Hasao Nakai. And really, you don't have to apologize for not introducing yourself, Mrs. Iburozaki. That's really Rin's job in this situation, isn't it? Another laugh from Emmy's mother. I take it you've not known Rin for that long, then. It's best not to expect her to remember something like that. She's got other things to think about, I assume. Rin nods, seemingly pleased by this assessment. She's right. I was thinking about sunsets. You see, it's really up to us to make introductions and the like. For lack of any better response, I nod. Mrs. Iburozaki leans back a little on her seat and raises an eyebrow. So, how long have you and Rin been dating? My response consists of silence as my brain suddenly lurches into gear. But just before I can begin to utter a hastily babbled explanation, Emmy's mother bursts into laughter again. Ha, you're a blusher, aren't you? I don't know if there's any way to keep my dignity in this situation, so I settle for a mumble response. Maybe. So this must be a new romance then, mustn't it? Wait, that's not the question, that. Another laugh. I know, but it's funny to see you squirm. Funny to watch you squirm. I'm sorry for giving old woman her amusements. Old woman. She sure doesn't look that old to me. Clearly, Emmy gets her youthful features from her mother. God dang it. I suppose I can let it go. How kind of you. It's starting. I direct my attention to the track where they're preparing for the first sprint. So, I never understood why they all started at different distances like that. But I assume they end at the same distance away or something, so it doesn't really change anything. It looks like the 400-meter dash. My eyes scan the runners before finding Emmy. She's smiling with him, this cocky look on her face. The starter raises his pistol. Emmy explodes with the block disappearing from the starting line in the blur. One of them doesn't have the hand. It's amazing, even as the other sprinters converge from the lanes closer to the inside line, Emmy surges to the front of the pack. By the time she rounds the final turn, some of the other runners have caught up with her. Their efforts came to naught though, since the final burst of speed from Emmy leaves them at least a half second behind. Mrs. Ibarazaki whoops and shouts, applauding wildly and generally looking like any other parent cheering on their child. Emmy bounds off the track looking pleased with herself. I cheer right along with the rest of them. The announcer, sounding suspiciously like Misha, gleefully gives the results. I think she's gotten faster since the last time. That was incredible. Mrs. Ibarazaki grins proudly. Emmy's a heck of a runner. We fall silent as the next event is being prepared. I'm surprised to see Emmy striding out onto the track again. Wait, didn't she just run? Emmy's mother nods. Yes, but she runs multiple events for the team, especially the sprints. It's a lot of running, but Emmy can't handle it. From the look of things, she's right. Emmy doesn't appear to be tired as if she hadn't run the previous event at all. If not for the sweat visible on her shirt, you'd never know. Sorry, did I miss something? Yeah, I didn't. It wasn't for the sweat on her shirt, you'd never know. Which event is this? It's a 200-meter dash. She'll do this one, the 100-meter, and the relay. I see. Once again, the pistol sounds, and once again, Emmy flies off the block. A thumping sound draws my attention away from the race. It's Rin's foot. She seems completely absorbed in the race. Emmy's mother cheers again, and I assume that the race is over. Sprints don't seem to me like they'd take very long to complete. Your foot. Your foot was bouncing on the bleachers. Oh. You seem pretty into this stuff. I'm surprised. Rin looks at me quizzically. Why wouldn't I be? No reason, I just thought stuff like sports wouldn't interest you.